Welcome to the Explainer. We are jumping straight into how you can empower yourself to conquer those insanely complex data tickets. If you've ever felt totally stuck because your technical skills just didn't quite match what the ticket required, well, this workflow is going to be a total game changer for you. We're talking about using Claude as your own personal SQL analyst.
You know that feeling of dread, right? You're working the queue, a critical issue gets escalated, and actually investigating it requires writing MySQL queries that are just, well, they're way beyond your current technical level. You could ping data engineering, but let's be real, they're 3 sprints backed up, and your customer needs answers like yesterday. This is exactly where AI swoops in to bridge that gap between what you know about the business and the technical execution you need to get the job done.
And the best part, you don't need expensive enterprise tools or a computer science degree for this. Because Claude has this massive 1 million token context window, it's honestly the absolute best model out there for full dataset analysis. You can literally feed it your entire database structure right on the free tier, and it transforms into this highly skilled data copilot.
But, and this is absolutely crucial, the secret to making this work is moving away from vague instructions. If you use a bad prompt, something like, write a query for failed logins, Claude is just going to guess. It's shooting in the dark. Instead, you need what we call a contract-style prompt. You define its role, you provide the exact table schema, and then you ask your business question in plain English.
Okay, so here's the exact 3-step framework. Step 1, paste your schema. Step 2, explicitly state your business rules and constraints. And step 3, request the specific SQL syntax, like MySQL. Without giving it the schema first, Claude will absolutely hallucinate columns that don't even exist. But when you follow this workflow, you ground the AI in your actual literal database reality.
All right, moving right into Section 1, demoing your very first SQL prompt. Let's see this in action. To do this safely, we're going to simulate a split-screen workflow, prompting Claude on the free tier on one side and validating the code in a local MySQL Workbench sandbox on the other. We kick things off by typing our structured contract-style prompt into Claude. We paste in our users and login tables and then clearly ask, find failed login attempts per user in the last 24 hours in MySQL. No ambiguity at all. Claude processes all of that context and instantly generates a precise read-only MySQL query. It's pretty amazing. It correctly uses the count function, it applies the exact interval logic for the last 24 hours, and it groups everything perfectly by the user ID. We didn't even have to look up the date interval syntax. Claude just did all the heavy lifting. So we just copy that code, drop it into our local sandbox, hit execute, and boom, immediate results. We can see exactly which users are struggling to log in. What used to be a ticket that sat for days waiting for engineering is now unblocked in literally minutes. You just pulled advanced data using nothing but natural language.
Section 2, iterating, or the execution feedback loop.
Because, let's face it, software development is rarely perfect on the first try. So what happens if Claude misses a filter or spits out a syntax error? Well, you do not rewrite the SQL yourself. Instead, you use a self-healing pipeline. You generate the query, test it locally, grab any errors, and feed them right back to Claude. Think of yourself as the senior reviewer, and Claude is the junior analyst fixing the code for you.
Let's say we realize we need to filter out test accounts. We just pop back over to our Claude chat and type a quick iteration like, update the query to join with the users table and filter out any accounts where status equals inactive or test. Or, if you hit an error in Workbench, you just copy the exact error message, paste it into Claude, and say, fix this.
And just like that, Claude self-corrects. It quickly adds the necessary table joins and the negative constraints we asked for, handing us back a perfectly optimized query. This iterative loop is so incredibly fast. It completely removes that agonizing frustration of staring at a bad table join for an hour trying to figure out what went wrong.
Okay, let's level up. Section 3, a real support scenario dealing with duplicate payment charges.
This is a classic boss fight ticket. A super frustrated customer writes in, claiming they were charged twice for the exact same order. Before we just blindly hand over a refund, we need to validate that claim by hunting for a duplicate state in our payment tables. This happens when multiple records represent the exact same real-world event, usually because of system retries or race conditions. We have to find those orphaned records.
We go right back to our trusty contract prompt. We feed Claude the schema for the payments table, the ID, order ID, amount, and status. Then we lay out the exact edge case we are hunting for.
Generate MySQL to find duplicate successful payments for the exact same order ID.
Claude churns through that context and gives us some pretty heavy-duty SQL. It uses grouping, aggregations, and this is the real magic here, a having clause to actually isolate those duplicate charges. If you're a beginner, writing a having clause from scratch is notoriously tricky, but Claude nails the structural pattern right on the head because we gave it clear instructions.
We take that code, run it safely in our MySQL Workbench sandbox, and there's the smoking gun. Order 9942 has a charge count of 2. That proves the customer was actually charged twice. You've got the hard proof, and you solved a critical escalation without ever having to tap an engineer on the shoulder.
Now, if you're wondering how reliable this really is, it's incredibly powerful. Benchmarks show that models like Claude Sonnet hit roughly 90% accuracy on complex analytical SQL, as long as you provide that proper schema context up front. By combining the AI's generation speed with your business knowledge and safe local testing, you become a seriously formidable problem solver.
Claude is literally acting as your personal data co-pilot here, empowering you to investigate issues safely, efficiently, and totally independently. You really don't have to fear the database backend anymore. So, armed with this brand new workflow, what daunting support ticket are you going to conquer next? Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.